Good evening and welcome to the Nerve Center at Fluence Media. I'm Blois Olson. We're going to try a little test tonight with this StreamYard and election coverage. The Twins are on WCCO radio tonight, so we won't have the broadcast or the luxury of that because they're on the West Coast. But we do have some of our first results in. We have just 137 precincts reporting in the state of 4,103. And Jim Schultz has a 59-32 lead in the Republican race for Attorney General. Now, as we start to look at some of these other races, we can see that some of these votes are from Hennepin County reporting already. In the Hennepin County Sheriff's race with 95 of 397 precincts, so almost 25% of the precincts. Dewana Witt leads the sheriff's race. Jai Hansen is in third, and Joseph Banks is in second. In the county attorney's race with 95 of 397 precincts reporting, we have Mary Moriarty with 35%, Ryan Winkler with 16%, Ted Jude with 12%, and Martha Holton Dimmick with 17. So Moriarty, Holton Dimmick, and Winkler in that race. Look, see if we can pull some legislative results out here. Senate District 41, this is one we're watching closely with 2 of 31 precincts. Tom Dipple has a lead over Representative Tony Juergens. In Senate District 62, where incumbent Omar Fatah is being challenged by Sean Layden with about 1,000 votes cast, we see Fatah with a 70 to 29% lead. In another Senate District challenge, Senate District 63, you have Zayad Mohammed leading Todd Scott 65 to 34. Out in Senate District 33, we have Nancy McClain leading Brian Baber in the DFL primary there with just 145 votes cast. And Cal Barr, the representative who's hoping to move over to the Senate, leads in his Senate primary 73 to 26% here. Let us know you're following along on Twitter, trying to make sure that we've got this right and it's all good. So let me check some tech stuff here while we're doing this, just to make sure we've got it so far. There we go. There we are. We'll continue to kind of look here. We're just checking the technology. Make sure we got this going tonight. We can watch this on Facebook at the Morning Take Group. And you can also watch it on Twitter or on the Fluence Media YouTube channel. So we're going to try this and see, if there's nobody watching, we probably won't keep doing it, but we will keep it going here. So, all right, go. We're gonna switch back to something here quick and go from there. So we are Having a little tweet deck issue here, which could be a problem tonight. All right. Let's go back to some of these results here, see what else is coming in. That first tranche is really the thing we're watching in these legislative races as well. We're going to scroll down, look at some of those House races now. See no results in House primaries so far. Senate primaries, we're watching Senate District 1. Incumbent Mark Johnson faces a challenge from Dave Hughes. Senate District 3, there's a Republican primary. Kelsey Johnson, longtime lobbyist for the mining industry, and Andrea Zupanac. No results there yet either. One of the big races that we're watching, Senate District 10, a three-way Republican primary. Steve Wenzel, Jim Newberger, Nathan Westenberg. There. Down in Senate District 23, where there was a residency challenge, Gene Dornick faces off against Lisa Hansen. Lisa Hansen was one of the restaurant owners that defied Governor Walz's orders during COVID. In Senate District 38, a DFL primary, Susan Fa leads Hulda Hiltsley 66 to 33%. And continuing to kind of watch results. There's a DFL primary 6 where Aaron McQuaid up, and in Senate District 54 where incumbent Senator Eric Pratt faces a challenge from Natalie Barnes. Still trying to figure out what happened to my tweet deck here. A whole new look to tweet deck. And it's already changed my color palette. So not ideal here on the tweet deck changes for today. Display. Dim. There we go. Shoot me a tweet if you're watching. Tag Blois Olson, and we will see how this goes. Thank you, Mr. McClung, for that tweet. All right, so in review, where are we at? We do have some results in. We have about 43,000 votes in the Attorney General's race. Jim Schultz leads Doug Wardlow 57 to 34%. There are 13 of 87 counties reporting. Starting to look at the Hennepin County races, which are very close. We have 54% of precincts reporting in Hennepin County, and Mary Moriarty leading with 36%. Martha Holton Dimmick with 17%, and Ryan Winkler in third with 16%. Start to dig in on the Senate races that we have. So in Senate District 11, a DFL primary between Michelle Boycheko and John Puera. Boycheko leads Puera 55 to 44%. Not a lot of votes coming in there. Bill Weber holding off about 10% of his precincts reporting. Brad Hutchinson, Weber has 84% of the vote. Cal Barr has 78% of the vote versus Marabella McDermott. Continuing down here in the DFL primary in Senate District 38, Susan Fa leads Hulda Hitzley 64 to 35%. One of the primaries to watch, Senate District 41, Tom Dipple leads Representative Tony Juergens 75 to 24 with just 10% of the precincts in there as well. Of course, we don't know where all these precincts are coming. An update in Senate District 62, where Senator Omar Fatah is being challenged by Sean Layden. Fatah, of course, has some ethics challenges. He leads 61 to 38% in that. There are 16 of 26 precincts left. So that South Minneapolis district getting early results. That may also reflect in the county attorney's race as well. High turnout in that space. And then another high turnout Minneapolis ward or district, Senate District 63. Zainab Mohammed leads Todd Scott 67 to 32. 10,000 votes in that seat. So a lot of those county attorney results and county sheriff results clearly coming from Minneapolis this early. Starting to look for House races. Minority Leader Kurt Doubt leads with 2 precincts of his 18 in, 62 to 37. Tina Reel is trailing Mark Bashofsky. This is a race out in the East Metro, Senate District 33, House District 33B, where you had the Action for Liberty candidate, Mark Bashofsky, have a solid challenge from Tina Reilly. And we have 2 precincts of 13 in there. 2 incumbents facing off against each other. Steve Elkins is leading Andrew Carlson in the Edina District 50B, Bloomington Edina, 68 to 31% there. And then in House District 62A, incumbent Aisha Gomez turning away a challenge by Osman Ahmed with half the precincts in, about a 700 vote lead, but that's a 60-40 result there. So we'll continue to read these as they come in. That looks like the last batch is in. Kind of looking at Twitter. Thank you, Melissa Roberts. Appreciate it. Meredith watching on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll keep these results coming here as quick as we can. It looks like if all goes fast, we could have an earlier night. You know, it's only 8:35. Polls have been closed for about 35 minutes here. We have 216 precincts of 397 in Hennepin County already in. And again, in that county attorney's race, Mary Moriarty with the lead. She has 36% of the vote. Watching my text come in here too. Martha Holton Dimmick has 17.5 and Ryan Winkler at 16.1. Holton Dimmick leads Winkler by approximately 1,200 votes. Continuing on here, Mayor of Brooklyn Center. I think the top two will advance. April Graves has an early lead over incumbent Mike Elliott. There's a four-way primary there. Mayor of Brooklyn Park. You have Hollis Winston leading the pack there. Hollis lost an earlier race for mayor. He has two challengers this time, Boyd Morrison, Winfred Russell. Lots of municipal elections in Robbinsdale, New Hope, etc. So we'll continue to follow those. Checking back in on our statewide results. Nothing new in the Attorney General's race. So let's go back. A lot of the votes are coming out of Hennepin County so far, based on what we can tell. And again, we're watching some of these legislative challenges where you have two incumbents against each other, or you had so there's an Egan seat where Sandra Mason and Liz Ryer, both current representatives, running against each other. No precincts recorded. Dakota County is kind of famously slow in reporting results. So just be mindful of that as we go through this. And in that 33B state representative, that's out in Washington County, you have two precincts reporting out there. And in those two precincts, only 144 votes. So depending on where those precincts are, there's a lot left to be counted in those seats. Checking to see if we have any updates here. We don't have any new results in yet. Both Tim Walz and Scott Jensen obviously win their primaries tonight. No real competition in that. Different than 4 years ago when we had competitive primaries on both sides, as you recall. We're looking at, hang on here. All right, we do have some updates. In the statewide attorney general's race, Doug Schultz has a commanding lead over Doug Wardlow. This is probably, all these votes are probably coming out of Hennepin County, which is going to have most likely the most votes tonight. We're going to check in on a couple of these congressional races now. State primary. On here. All right. In House District 1, we have Brad Finstead early lead over Jeremy Munson, 74-25 in that race. And then as we're checking, all right, in the 5th district, Ilhan Omar, with about 90,000 votes cast, has a 50.97 versus 47.58 And early signs would say that most of those votes are coming from the urban core, meaning that we don't have a lot of suburbs in. We do have some of the Brooklyn center votes in, but I'm not seeing that. And in the Republican primary, we have Cicely Davis, the endorsed candidate, leading Royce White and Guy Gaskin in that as well. And Jeff Ettinger has a dominant lead in his primary over there as well. So one of the challenges on these nights is to try to figure out where these votes are coming from. And so as we look at where they're coming from, I'm just going to try to see if I can pull up a map of these results. State primary. Summary. Yeah, we still don't know where these are coming from, but there's definitely results in there's votes coming in Hennepin County. And then there's smattering. Turnout looks very low here. Out in State House District 48A, you have a DFL primary between Nathan Kells and Arlen Brickmeyer. The winner will face Jim Nash. Kells is leading that 51-48 with 12 of 15 precincts. So that's a place where you could have less than 2,000 votes in that primary. An update here on 50B, DFL incumbents Andrew Carlson, Steve Elkins, districted together, challenging Elkins leading 58-41 against Andrew Carlson. Ayesha Gomez seeming to handle her opponent easily, 68-31 in that race there. Looking for some other results here. In House District 3A, Roger Scarba versus Blaine Johnson. Up north, you have a very tight race with 14 of 101 precincts, 50-49 in that race. Check here on congressional results again. That 5th District DFL race, as I mentioned before, 50-97. So just keep watching that one. So the seats that the counties we're going to watch for a lot of these races are the suburban counties: Washington County, Dakota County, Hennepin County. Scott County is going to have those Prior Lake primaries coming in. And then you go up, kind of up the 94. Alex, you have a Senate primary there. Up as far as Crookston, Senate primary there with Dave Hughes and Mark Johnson watching those. So the first results in that, only 2 precincts in, 23 total votes. Mark Johnson's got an early lead there. Kelsey Johnson trails Andrea Zupanich with about 10% of precincts reporting in Senate District 3, 57-42. Now we get to that Bill Weber seat, Senate District 21, with 29 of 210 precincts, 75-24. Could be a long night. Remember, a lot of those greater Minnesota Senate districts cover multiple counties and have just so much geography. In Senate District 48, Dan Kessler is going to win most likely there in his primary. And again, update on Omar Feta with 24 of 26 precincts reporting. Feta looks like he's going to defeat Sean Layden, the teachers union challenger, 60-39. So not as close as people had anticipated there for Feta, who has faced a Senate ethics hearing, etc. So something to be mindful of as we go forward there. Been live for about 25 minutes here, and trying to make sure you get what you need and when you need it. Check the text string. Mr. Sherwood, thanks for watching. And a couple other texts here. Just checking some of our sources here. All right. All right. We'll hit refresh here. My plan is to go till about 10. Hopefully we'll have most of the results in. We should have most of the results in by then. So let's just watch here, refresh. So no more statewide results in yet. We have results from 21 of 87 counties, but we only have about 14% of all precincts statewide. Now, when we look at Hennepin County, we have 86% of Hennepin County precincts are reporting. And in the county attorney's race, Mary Moriarty with 36% of the vote, Martha Holton Dimmick with 17%, and Ryan Winkler trailing by just about 2,200 votes to Dimmick for that second spot. Tad Jude picked up 10%, and Paul Ostro is wavering at about 8%. Saraswati Singh about 7%. So when a crowded race like that, it starts to, really be a challenge. In the county sheriff's race, Jai Hansen, who was running a very aggressive race, he is trailing Joseph Banks for the second spot against Tawana Witt. She has 57% of the vote. And meanwhile, Joseph Banks has 22%. Hansen trails by about 2,500 votes there. We're going to check these. We're going to check these other races here. All right. Update on the 5th congressional district with 200. So we're waiting for about 15 more precincts in the 5th congressional district race. Don Samuels is very close to Ilhan Omar. She only is 50.95. He's at 47.61. He's got about 3,500 votes to make up in those 15 precincts. It all depends on where they are. We know historically turnout is much higher in urban areas in that district, and go from there. And we're still waiting on first district results. In District 4, Betty McCullum is trouncing Amane Badasso with first round of votes in here. McCullum has 89% of the vote. One of the things was Badasso, an upstart, kind of part of that squad mentality, really was aggressive in attacking McCullum, but McCullum got the DFL endorsement and seems to be making easy work of Badasso. Looking across here. All right. So let's go to some of these legislative races. In the Senate. All right, I can call the Senate District 62 race. Omar Feta wins against the challenge from what's this guy's name? Sean Layden. So we have Feta winning there. We'll send out a tweet here about the Feta victory. As I said, this is going to be kind of an experiment tonight, but I really appreciate everybody watching. Don't know if that's the right handle, so we'll go with there's our first called victory in one of those Senate seats. And there was about 11,000 votes there. Now, down in Senate District 63, which is a little south of there, about 18,000 votes. Zainab Mohammed looks to be on his way to victory over Todd Scott. Trying to follow some of these other ones. Still not a lot of precincts in all of these. In Senate District 38, I think that's out by Egan. Susan Fa is beating Hulda Hiltsley 62-37 with 19 of 21 precincts in there. In Senate District 31, Cal Barr will likely beat Mirabella McDermott and head to the Senate. He's a current House member. In District 11, for the right to face Senator Jason Rarick, Michelle Boycheko is defeating John Pera 61-38. In the three-way primary in Senate District 10 to replace outgoing Senator Paul Gazelka, longtime civic leader Steve Wenzel has an early lead, but there's only 3 precincts in, so it's early. But Mr. Wenzel's formerly a Democrat who served in the House. Now he'd be a Republican serving in the Senate. All right, we have our first results in up there in Senate District 1, northwest corner of the state. Mark Johnson, 2 precincts in, only 13 votes, but he leads Dave Hughes 17-6 in votes. So, just kind of checking in on a few of the feeds here. Yeah, we're waiting on some more precincts in that 5th district race. Checking back in on the Jim Schultz-Doug Wardlow race. Schultz still holds a commanding lead. Wardlow, 33% of the vote. Schultz with about 56% of the vote. Hennepin County. We are still waiting on about 23 precincts in Hennepin County. I'm guessing they're out near the western edge. They could help Ryan Winkler if they come in. And just looking at the House races here, where they're coming in. Josh Heinzman's turning away a challenge from Doug Kern in House District 6B. Up in House District 3A, Blaine Johnson and Roger Scraba are in a tight contest. Ron Krisha appears early results show him turning away a challenge from Charles Perrins. A lot of these challenges to Republicans were from the from the further right, kind of the Action for Liberty Trump crowd. All right, in House District 10B, this is an open seat. Isaac Schultz, aide to Pete Stauber, is leading with 48% of the vote with one precinct in. Kurt Doubt still leading in his. Only 4 precincts out in that Washington County 33B. Mark Bashofsky, North Cantina really 64 to 35%. Not a lot of turnout in a lot of these primaries as we see them. But one House primary, 50B, 2 Democrats running against each other, sitting House members, Andrew Carlson and Steve Elkins. They are getting a lot of texts with people asking me to prognosticate. Steve Elkins leads 58 to 41. Nathan Wells is leading Arlen Brinkmeyer in House District 48A. That's for the right to take on incumbent Jim Nash. And Aisha Gomez will win her primary against Osman Ahmed. We'll send that one out to the Twitterverse, catch our breath. Shoot me a tweet at Blois, Olson, or Morning Take. Let me know if there's a race you want me to watch, if you don't have access to these. Here you go. All right. We're going to head back to those statewide results, see if we get any changes. No changes there, which means we don't have any other changes there. So we might be in a little bit of a holding pattern here. So in Brooklyn Center, it looks like April Graves will be the lead vote getter in the mayor's race there. There are 6 precincts in Brooklyn Center. Incumbent Mike Elliott, obviously front and center in the Dante Wright killing. He is trailing April Graves, but he'll go to the runoff. So there'll be a general election runoff between Graves and Elliott. 5 of 6 precincts reporting there. Very low turnout in Brooklyn Center. So 18. So that's one of the things to watch. Why is that congressional race so close? Well, Representative Ilhan Omar has said that Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, some of those areas are her base. And so getting low turnout out in that area is something. In Brooklyn Park, higher turnout in Brooklyn Park, where Hollis Winston is 55% of the vote. Winfred Russell is second with 28% of the vote, and Boyd Monson in third. There too would be a runoff there as well. We're going to kind of keep an eye on this. Looks like there's a little delay in the stream here. So thanks for following along. Appreciate it. Got statements starting to flow in. Tom Weiler wins his primary in District 3. Check here. Any more results? Got a little bit of an update here. So we'll check that 5th district race. It's down to about 3,100 vote lead. We're waiting on 9 precincts. It depends on where the precincts come from, but it's gonna be tough, I think, for Don Samuels to pull this out. But he is very, very close in this race. And I think one of the things that the Omar people have been concerned about is that if there's a primary every time she runs, that eventually there's going to be enough. And if you start to look at this, it's 50.7 to 47.83, and there's 3 candidates who have less than 1% in that race. So Albert Ross, AJ Kern, Nate Schulter have very few votes, but it's essentially a 50-50 race if you add them in against Ilhan Omar. In District 7, for the right to take on Michelle Fischbach, we have Jill Osmond leading Alyssa Grunhagen there. Pete Stauber, nominal challenge. Jen Schultz, nominal challenge. Those two, Jen Schultz and Pete Stauber, will face off. All right, in House District 1, Brad Finstead is winning against Jeremy Munson, 76 to 23. There's about 100 of 749 precincts in. And then we also have this Senate District or Congressional District 1 election. So the Secretary of State is providing that on a spreadsheet, and we do not have any results on that race yet at all. Any race you want to be following, let me know. Continue to watch this. Appreciate you all staying tuned in. One in Ramsey, one in Hennepin, one in Anoka in that 5th district race that we're going to watch. It's going to be late in some of these other legislative races. So we'll go another 27 minutes or so here if we learn stuff in the big races. It looks like in Wisconsin, Tim Michaels is the Republican nominee in that race. He was up against Rebecca Kleefisch. That's an example where Mike Pence endorsed Kleefisch and Michaels was endorsed by Trump. He wins there to face Tony Evers over in Wisconsin. Continuing to kind of watch here, the Senate District 38, that's not Eagan, that's Brooklyn Center. That's the race we were watching over there. And Cecily Davis leads Royce White. So it looks like there's not, it's going to be tough with these seats, but I definitely think you can take this 5th district race. They believe some are left in pro Samuels wards, but some pro are too short but tough. Samuels is going to have a tough time climbing that. All right, we'll check here for a refresh on the results. No new results. So we'll run through Hennepin County. Looks like Dewana Witt and Joseph Banks will advance in the Hennepin County race. It depends on if Bloomington is still out or any of those places. Ryan Winkler trails Martha Holton Dimmock for the 2nd spot there. Now, running through some of these legislative races. All right. So, Heintzman beating Kern. Lots of uncertainty. Krisha beating Perrins. Dowd beating Davis. Bashofsky still beating Tina Rules. Still only 4 of 13 precincts out there. In a close one to face Jim Nash, Kells looking to beat Brinkmeyer. 2 incumbents running against each other. Steve Elkins beating Andrew Carlson. We said Aisha Gomez won. We do not have any results in that Scott County race between Bob Lunan and Eric Mortensen, House District 54A. That is a bloodbath down there. Those two, there is no love lost between those two. It's been a nasty, nasty race. We also don't have any results from Dakota County, where Representative Sandra Mason faces off against Representative Liz Ryer. So we will continue this as we go here. Hang on, we're playing with TweetDeck here, which got a little iffy. Oh. Zainab won, making her the first Black and Muslim woman in the Minnesota Senate. Only Twitter would mess with TweetDeck on election night here. All right. We'll hit a refresh and give you our latest results. In the Republican Attorney General's race, Jim Schultz still has a 55 to 33% lead over Doug Wardlow. About 95,000 votes so far. So what we do know is a lot of these are coming in from Hennepin County, high turnout in high populous counties. So we might have a lot of precincts out, but there are probably not a lot of votes in those either. No more updates from Hennepin County. Still waiting there. Looking at some of these races. A little bit of an update. A few more precincts up in Senate District 1. Dave Hughes trails Mark Johnson. But again, there you have 66 votes in 4 precincts. So rural areas, not a lot of voters. Very low turnout right now. Update in that Senate District 10, where Steve Wenzel, Jim Newberger, and Nathan Wessenberg are running against each other. We have about 10% of the precincts in now. Wessenberg and Newberger have the top 2 spots. They are 8 votes apart. Wenzel in third there. Continuing down, Gary Dames turning away Larvita McFarquhar, 92 to 7%, about 20% of the precincts in there. DFL primary out in Washington County, Nancy McLean versus Brian Baber for the right to face Karen Housley, 91% for McLean, Baber under 10%. Brooklyn Center, Senate seat, Susan Fa leads Hudla Hiltzley, 61 to 38%. Now, looking at that Senate District 41, where Tony Jurgens and Tom Dipple are facing off, Dipple, who I believe had the Republican endorsement, leads 68 to 31%. And kind of pressing along here. Early numbers, no numbers down in that Dakota County district between Aaron McQuaid, Justin Emmerich. We'll have to watch that one for a while. And we just mentioned Zaim Mohammed becomes the first Muslim and Black woman to serve in the Minnesota Senate. She'll face Sean Hollister in the general, but that's a highly DFL ward. We also do not have any reports from Senate District 65, where Senator Sandy Pappas, the veteran of the Senate, faces Shea Freeberg and Zuki Ellis. That three-way primary expected to be close as well. Now, going to the congressional races. Brad Finstead, commanding lead, 77-22 over Jeremy Munson. Betty McCollum beating Amane Badasso, 87% of the vote for McCollum. Don Samuels still trailing by about 3,100 votes. So it might have got a little narrower there, but is there enough to come back? Both campaigns trying to figure out where their votes would come from. We did have a couple primaries. So in the legal marijuana party now, we have a primary between James McCaskill and Chris Wright. McCaskill leading 50-49. In the grassroots legalized cannabis party, it's 56-43 for Steve Patterson and Daryl Paulson. And then Tim Walz and Scott Jensen won easily in their token primaries. Check this. It should be noted that Sharon Anderson, the regular candidate, always on the ballot, is pulling 10% in the Republican Attorney General's race. So she once won that race against, I think, Tom Neville. All right, update in the sheriff's race. Dawana Witt, the DFL endorsed candidate, is winning with 57% of the vote. Joseph Banks looks like he's going to finish second. Ryan Winkler still trailing by about 1.5 points behind Marsha Holton Dimmick. Winkler, longtime House member, Senate majority or House Majority Leader right now. Ted Jude with 10% of the vote in that race. So I would just say there's just texting. So there we go. I think the rest of the races are going to be these legislative races, and we'll keep you updated as we see results come in. But it looks like we're still waiting on 8 precincts in that 5th district. So we've been waiting on those same 8 precincts for quite some time. About 107, maybe 108,000 votes, 110,000 votes. So low turnout in that primary. To put that in perspective, let me pull out the previous numbers there. So in 2018, there were 135,000 votes in that primary. And in 2020, there were 177,000 votes in that primary. So turnout down about 25,000 votes so far. So, you get 20,000 votes in, depends on where they're from. We do know, based on other results, specifically the House races, that we do see results from the southern part of Hennepin County. Now, I don't think all of that is in the 5th. So tough to kind of measure that, and I'm trying to see here where we have any other Hennepin County results. So yeah, that 50B is probably not in the 5th district, or very barely in the 5th district. Still no results in the Ryer-Mazin race, still no results in the Thomas Finke race in 66A. And John Thompson, Liz Lee, another House race we're watching, no results there. So Ramsey County, a little slower to report as of right now. Continue to watch these come in. No updates at this time in the 5th district. Oh, check the texts here and John Thompson. Bear with me a sec here as I check a few things. Thanks to a few people are watching on Twitter. A few people are watching live on Facebook, on YouTube. Appreciate it. Little experiment tonight. No radio, so we thought we'd try to give you some results. Checking for an update. No new results in the last 5 minutes or so. Put it in perspective, we have about 26% of all precincts in statewide, and we have reports from 36 of 87 counties. So results are coming in. And as of 7 a.m. this morning, there were 3.5 million Minnesotans registered to vote. So we start to look at, we'll get out the calculator here. Let's assume we have if there's 3.5 million Minnesotans registered to vote, we have times, let's just say we have 80% turnout. So that'd be 2.8 million people turning out this year with 80% turnout. Turnout might be closer to 70, 65%. I'm just sensing there's a little lack of energy in all voters. And talking to several Republicans who say that 2010 was their last great year, and the generic ballots between Democrats and Republicans for this year is showing a 1.5 to 2 point surge, whereas in 2010 that surge was about 9 percentage points. So I think they're trying to temper expectations on that piece. I'm gonna pull up some of those Senate races. Do we have here? Oh, we have 2 more precincts in that 5th district race, and it looks like we're at about 2,800 votes. So looks like Omar stretched her lead just a little. So we're waiting on 6 precincts in that race. Meanwhile, in the 4th district, we have 22 of 212 precincts in. Betty McCollum leading 87 to 11. And then May Lorjeong looks to be headed to victory in the Republican primary there. Brad Finstead winning the primary in the 1st district, 85 to 14 over Jeremy Munson. Remember, that was very close. I think less than 500 or 700 votes in the May special election. So Munson kind of reemerged as a candidate, but not having much traction. And then Jeff Ettinger, he's winning his primary down there, 61-37. James Rainwater throwing up an impressive 37% there. I think Rainwater's viewed as a little more liberal than Ettinger, and really trying to challenge kind of the electability premise that Democrats are trying with Ettinger, who's going to have an uphill battle against Finstead. All right, we're going to run through state representative races up in 3A. We have about 20% of the precincts in 3A. Johnson is losing to Scarba 51-48. That could turn quick. In 5B, Sheldon Monson is leading Mike Weiner. Josh Heitzman with about 20% of the precincts in, leading Doug Kern 82 to 17. Ron Krisha with about 20 of 73 precincts in leads Charles Parent. These incumbents that got challenged, those are the ones to watch. Isaac Schultz leading in 10B. He's an aide to Pete Stauber. He's being challenged by John Ulrich and Blake Paulson. Isaac Schultz, 48% of the vote in that three-way. Next closest, Blake Paulson with 39% of the vote. Jesse Johnson, District 20A. Just one precinct in, but an early lead over Representative Pam Altendorf. Continuing to go down here. We now have half the precincts in out in 33B, that Washington County district out by Stillwater. Mark Bashofsky, 61%. Tina Reilly, 38%. Only 1,200 voters in that district. Steve Elkins, 14 of 15. Looks like Elkins wins the House District 50B. House District 50B. Elkins will win that primary. Try to update the tape here along the bottom so you can see that. We're going to, in H District 50B. Steve Elkins on Twitter. We'll just go generic. So if you follow along at Blois Olson, I'm tweeting the results there on Twitter. And we'll try to put them in the banner here as we can. Okay, we have our first results in from House District 54A, 14 of 15 precincts in. Eric Mortensen leads 55-44 over Bob Lunan. There's about 300 vote difference there. And I think that's going to be a lot for Lunan to try to pick up in one precinct. We won't call it yet, but that one is close. In 65B, House District 65B, Maria Isas Perez Hedges versus Anna Botts. Perez Hedges, longtime activist, 2 precincts in, leads Botts 74-25. So starting to get those in as well. Now we're going to go to the Senate districts. I think we should have some results. Early, Sandy Pappas with an early lead with 2 precincts in, 57-31 over Shay Freeberg. Zuki Ellis with 54% of the vote. We should also start to have some results out down in Senate District 54, where Senator Eric Pratt has an early lead with 28 of 33 precincts in. He has an early lead over Natalie Barnes, 53-46 in their primary down there. Put that out there for the Twitterati. To face Julia Coleman, Dan Kessler is the candidate out there. He's going to win easily over Baklarsina Bala Shintaglada, candidate out in Carver County. Going to be a tough seat for Democrats to win. Scrolling, Gene Dornick with 13 of 113 precincts in, leads Lisa Hansen 56-43%. We'll keep watching that one. Could get close. Jeff Howe being challenged by Ashley Berg, 40 of 49 precincts in. And it looks like Senator Jeff Howe wins in Senate District 13. Looks like incumbent Republican senators who had these challenges are doing better than they were expected to do in these races. Senate District 10, that we only have 25 of 123, but Jim Newberger now in the lead there. That's been back and forth. It's a big district, a lot of ground to cover there, so something to be mindful of. Ben DiNucci is leading Kim McLaughlin in DFL District 7, Senate District, to face Robert Farnsworth there. Okay, here's one of these other Senate challenge. Paul Utke being challenged by Brent Busman and Dale Anderson. Utke with about 20% of the precincts in, leading with 58% of the vote. Kelsey Johnson trails with about 10%, and then Dave Hughes is trailing Mark Johnson as well. Let's go back and see what we can find in that. Congressional race 5. Everybody's watching very closely. We're still waiting on 8 precincts there. 8 precincts in District 5. We have about 22 of 212 in District 4. We have about 184 of 749 in District 1. Should be a note if you can, if the stream is going well. If it's not, if you have my cell, text me. I'm guessing I know a few of you watching. Just be mindful of that. Oh. Just trying to see if there's any other updates out there. Insight. Some of you are looking for school board referendum. We won't get to those till later. Still wait. 6 precincts now left in the 5th district. Still about 2,800 votes. Don Samuels is short about 2,800 votes. So it depends on where those come in. All right. I guess the texts are coming in. I guess people are watching. Good thing we turn off commenting on this. All right. So in Brooklyn Center, high-profile mayor's race there. Mike Elliott finishes second to April Graves. Those two will run against each other in November. Remember, there may also be a ballot initiative to make the mayor of Brooklyn Center a full-time position. All right. Update on the Hennepin County Attorney's race. There's about 16 precincts left to be reported in Hennepin County. Ryan Winkler is trailing Martha Holton Dimmick by 2,500, 2,600 votes. Mary Moriarty has 36% of the vote and is in first place. Dad Jude, 10% of the vote there. Lots of Wednesday morning quarterbacking on that one. If it stays a crowded race and it's Moriarty versus Dimmick there. All right, we're going back to the legislative races. What do we see here? looks like in House District 50B, Elkins will win. We've talked about that one. We have a result in Egan. Liz Ryer defeats Sandra Mason in House District 52A. Two House members running against each other. Liz Ryer wins the DFL primary there. Egan, that's probably stays at DFL seat. They'll face Fern Smith in the general election. Mason and Ryer, two incumbents that ran against each other. And again, Mortensen leading Lunan 55 to 44. Mortensen really kind of a little bit of a rabble rouser in the House, to be gentle. He'll go back. Be interesting to see if he goes back. He'll face Brad Tapke, former mayor, former state rep, in the general election there as well. So Maria E. Perez Hedges leads with about a third of the precincts in. She leads 78 to 21. Looks like she'll be the nominee there. All right, we have our first results in House District 67A. John Thompson, the incumbent, highly controversial, under a cloud of scrutiny, two precincts in. Thompson is losing 90 to 10 to Liz Lee. Would have been a shock if Thompson got through that after all he's been through and all the scrutiny he has as well. So we'll continue to watch and see. And what do we have here? All right, we're going to go to the Senate races now. Senate race refresh. All right. Kelsey Johnson trails Andrea Zuprachin with 22 precincts in. That's the Iron Range. No telling where those precincts are, so we'll wait. Paul Utke is leading. He's got about 25% of the precincts in. Senator Paul Utke is facing challenges from two folks in Republican. Here's a race we're watching. Senate District 9, 53 of 183 precincts in. Jordan Rasmussen is leading Nathan Miller. Rasmussen, a very up-and-coming state rep, decides to run for the state Senate in District 9, gets challenged by Nathan Miller. So there's about, I'd say, 30% of the precincts in. Rasmussen leading 59 to 40. Now, back to Senate District 10. We got another lead change there. Steve Wenzel, the longtime activist professor at, I think it's North Central Community College and Technical College up there by Brainerd, Little Falls area. Steve Wenzel, 38%. Nathan Westenberg, 37%. Jim Newberger, 24%. 59 of 123 precincts reporting there. All right, let's go to Senate District 33. Nancy McLean dominating over Brian Baber to face Karen Housley out in Washington County, East Metro, St. Croix area. Tony Juergens looks like he's going to stay in trouble here. State representative faces Tom Dipple, the Republican endorsed candidate. Juergens trailing 60 to 39. Scrolling down a little further. An update in the Pratt-Barnes race. Pratt, with 28 of 33 precincts reporting, is leading 53 to 46%. Barnes got the Republican endorsement over the incumbent Senator Eric Pratt, came from the Trump COVID-driven anti-vax wing of the Republican Party, given Pratt a challenge here, but with 5 precincts left, Pratt leads over Barnes. Scrolling further here. Sandy Pappas, now 5 precincts of 24 reporting in St. Paul. Pappas leading over Zuki Ellis and Shea Freeberg, 67%. Continue to look here. All right, we got our first results in Senate District 56. 23 of 24 precincts in. Erin May Quaid defeating Justin Emmerich. She's leading 64 to 35% out there in SD 56. May Quaid Justin Emmerich with all but one of 24 precincts in. Looks like Erin May Quaid will face Jim Bean. Bean, not Beam. I know it's late. Jim Bean in that very independent district, Senator 56 down the Apple Valley area. That will be a race, that open seat that was held by Greg Clausen. That will be a seat that many folks are watching. That's going to be one of the seats Republicans try to pick up, Democrats try to hold. Continuing to look here. Any new updates in the 5th district? No, we're still waiting on 6 precincts in the 5th district. Meanwhile, Brad Finstead leads Jeremy Munson. Jeff Ettinger leads his opponents. And we're going to go back and we're going to try to find, I'm going to try to find election results. Here we go. 2022 state primary. Let's see if there's any results in the 1st district. Still no results in the 1st district. A lot of folks watching here. All right. Let's give Hennepin County a refresh. No refresh there. All right. Dakota County came in. So let's look at the Dakota County attorney's race. Dakota County Commissioner Jimmy Francis and Joe Atkins likely to go ahead to the general election in District 2. Expected to be kind of a hot race, but Atkins won big today, 70%. Jimmy Francis, 20%. In the county attorney race out there, Matt Little leads Kathy Keena, 33 to 30%. Elizabeth Lemon, a Ramsey County prosecutor who had the DFL endorsement, has 94%, 20% of the vote. There's about 9 precincts out in Dakota County. So we'll watch that closely out there. Continuing to look at key county races. If there's one you want to see, text it to me. The 5th district's going to be tough for Don Samuels to get through. And I know a lot of people are watching that race closely, but just so we know that is one that is going to be tough. All right. Republican Brad Finstead. Finstead is leading. Oh, that was from May. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. So 2022. All right. State primary. All right. Statewide Attorney General. Jim Schultz, 54%. Doug Wardlow, 34%. We have about 46% of the precincts in. but we're getting the most populous areas in and counted in that race. So looking there. Now, we'll go back to some of these legislative races because it does look like, despite the scare, that Senate incumbent Republicans who were challenged, there was a half dozen or so, are faring very well. One we're watching closely, Mark Johnson, Dave Hughes up in Senate District 1. One primary, still a lot to be decided, Senate District 3, Kelsey Johnson. And Andrea Zupanich. Zupanich, I think, has the endorsement up there. Kelsey Johnson, longtime lobbyist for the mining industry, with a big challenge. All right, Senate District 5, Paul Utke, 38 of 144 precincts in. He's got 58% of the vote versus Ben Busman and Dale Anderson. Jordan Rasmussen, 77 of 183 precincts reporting. And we're seeing that in that race, Rasmussen is ahead. He's an up-and-coming House member, decided to run for the Senate. We got a barn burner in Senate District 10, Steve Wenzel, Nathan Westenberg, and Jim Newberger. Currently, Wenzel trails Westenberg by 6 votes. So that one could go to a recount if it stays that close all the way through. Got a text here from a loyal viewer. Turnout looks low, but it's low compared to 2014, 2018, and 2020. 2018 and 2020 were very high turnout races. 2018 was a lot of energy. We had a Republican and DFL primaries for governor. 2020, obviously, vote by mail was very accessible. Absentee voting, very accessible. Cal Barr is going to beat Mirabella McDermott in Senate District 31 quite handily. Barr wins 78 to 21%. Getting down to this Pratt race, still 28 of 33 precincts in. Pratt leads over Natalie Barnes. Looks like he should survive. Let's go to the House races. All right. No new results in John Thompson's race. Eric Mortensen with 1 precinct out is going to beat Bob Lunan. He'll then face Brad Tapke. We mentioned Liz Ryer beats Sandra Mason. We back out 9 of 13 precincts reporting out in Washington County. Mark Bashofsky beating Tina Reilly 60 to 39%. Again, very low turnout, under 2,000 out there in Washington County. So I think where you have congressional races, you have competitive county races, you're going to see higher turnout. These legislative races just aren't going to draw people out. House District 10B with 21 of 50 precincts reporting Isaac Schultz, 64% of the vote. Longtime Pete Stauber aide. Eric Forsman and Alicia Kozlowski in 8B. No results from 8B. Liz Olson, no results from 8A. So Duluth, St. Louis County, not coming in. Josh Heinzman with 10 of 25 is beating Doug Kern solidly, 81 to 18. So we're seeing that. Now we are in that phase where we're just going to watch and wait. Just got a new wave in. Not sure where they're from. Let's check the congressionals to see where they're from. It looks like some from the first. Finstead's Munson lead 79-20. And Don Samuels is now 2,800 votes behind. Less than 2 points, about 1.5 points. 2.5 point difference for them. And turnout there with 5 precincts left shows that 5 precincts left, turnout is looking at like about 110, 111 points. So people, 1,000 votes. And like I said before, put it in perspective, 2018 turnout there was, so that's a 30,000 vote slip in those numbers. So be very aware of turnout in these primaries. We'll continue to do our best here. Let's refresh and see what we have. All right. Ryan Winkler, there's 10 precincts still out in Hennepin County. Ryan Winkler trails by about 2,850 votes to Martha Holton Dimmock for that third spot. Martha Holton Dimmock and Don Samuels started to align their campaigns about 2-3 weeks out. And I think that had something to do with Martha Holton Dimmock's strength. She also, with Winkler, got the Star Tribune endorsement and really kind of came as the third party. I've written that this reminded me a little of the 1994 Ramsey County Attorney's race where Bob Long, Tom Fable, and Susan Gertner faced off. And Gertner kind of became the dark horse, ultimately won, served for several terms as county attorney in Ramsey County. So we'll keep watching that, but only 10 precincts left in Hennepin County to come in, and that will start to set the pace here. Looking at House districts, state House districts. I'm going to go ahead and declare Eric Mortensen the winner over Bob Lunan. I'm going to say that Kurt Dowd is going to beat Rachel Davis. There's 4 more precincts out, but it looks like Mark Bishovsky will win in House District 33B. We'll send that out as a little tweet here. How do you spell Bishovsky? House District 33B. It's going to be a swing district that a lot of people will pay attention to as we go here. We're trying to see where else we have this. All right. Mortensen, only one precinct still out there. He leads by 300 votes, but I think he's probably going to win. Aisha Gomez, we called that one. Still only 2 precincts in Ramsey County related to the John Thompson race. Let's go to the Senate races, see if we can have any more fun there. No updates from northwestern Minnesota. Remember, there's a long way to drive to bring results to the central county seat in a lot of these places. Paul Utke still leading in Senate District 5. Jordan Rasmussen still leading in Senate District 9. Wenzel is now in second place. Westenberg starting to pull away in Senate District 10. Jeff Howe winning easily over Ashley Berg in Senate District 13. Gary Dames winning easily over Levita Makafar in McFarquhar in Senate District 15. Scrolling here. Tony Jurgens looks like the one state rep who tried to make a jump to the state Senate, who's likely to lose to Tom Dipple down in Senate District 41. Tao Zhang in Senate District 44 looks to be the DFL nominee to face Paul Babin. 29 of 33 precincts in. Eric Pratt leads Natalie Barnes by about 440 votes. Again, Aaron May Quaid dominates Justin Emmerich in Senate District 56. Remember, Emmerich got the endorsement. May Quaid went into labor during the process. There was some hyper coverage of the race nationally. May Quaid was a state rep. She was Aaron Murphy's running mate in 2018. She's going to make her bid back. She leads a group called Gender Justice, and so she's had a strong fundraising base, especially since Roe was overturned. So she probably was able to outspend Justin Emmerich, but that was bitter during the endorsement and the labor and the idea that the endorsement process wasn't suspended, etc. So Aaron May Quaid will face Jim Bean, and that will be a targeted race by both sides. Republicans look to think that they have a pickup opportunity. Democrats want to hold that seat if they have any chance of taking the Senate. We have 11 of 24 precincts in Senate District 65. Sandy Pappas leading Shay Freeberg, a union activist who's been part of a lot of these hospitality union organizing efforts. And Zuki Ellis, Sandy Pappas, the veteran, 65% of the vote, 13 precincts left to report. So that's what we know now. Those of you who are hanging out with us, I appreciate it. All right, we're checking on that statewide GOP race. All right, Jim Schultz's lead is now 53 to 34%. But a lot of those votes we know are coming in from populous areas. That we have 52% of precincts statewide reporting in. In Hennepin County, still waiting on 8 precincts in Hennepin County. Winkler still trailing Holton Dimmock. By 2,800 votes. It's going to be tough for Winkler to get past in these final precincts coming in Hennepin County. And then also in Hennepin County, note that Joseph Banks finishes second to Jai Hansen, and Dewana Witt will face Joe Banks in the general election. Again, only 9, now 8 precincts we're waiting for there. So we're almost to 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to sign off at 10 because it looks like all the races are close to being called, the big ones. If you have my number, you can text me for other results. Otherwise, follow me at Blois Olson on Twitter. I will tweet stuff out. We'll run through one summary here before we log off. In the 1st District special election, Brad Finstead is beating Jeremy Munson 77 to 22%. In 4th District, Betty McCollum is winning with 84% of the vote. In the 4th District, we only have 77 of 212 precincts left. That tells me that there's a fair amount of Washington County and Ramsey County still out. Waiting on those last 5 precincts in the 5th District. Ilhan Omar, 50% of the vote, 50.53. Don Samuels, 48.02% of the vote. That's going to be a close one. If Omar sneaks that out, it'll be interesting to see if she changes her style. There has been a lot of talk about this new DFL coalition, kind of led by Jacob Fry after he won re-election, to take on the left-leaning, DSA-driven squad personality of Ilhan Omar. And, she had the squad come in. The Omar people exuded a lot of confidence, but they acted like they were behind, and they were ruthless, tough, and if she squeaks this out, it probably paid off, especially if there's only 2,500 votes left here. And then remember, next time's a presidential, so we might have higher turnout as well. All right. Let's hit refresh. Got no new results in. And we'll start to look at some of these legislative races. Whoops, I just lost my House races. So we'll go to the state Senate. 22 precincts up. Northwest corner, Mark Johnson leads Dave Hughes. Johnson, an incumbent. Paul Utke, incumbent, leads Brett Bussman and Dale Anderson. Jordan Rasmussen leads Nathan Miller. About 100 precincts left, 98 precincts left there. Westenberg leading Wenzel by 30 votes in Senate District 10. That might be the one that we watch all night, and in tomorrow could be a recount. So Gary Dames wins his primary. Bill Weber wins his primary. Cal Barr wins his primary. Susan Fa wins the Senate District 38 primary for Democrats, 61-38. Representative Tony Jurgens loses in his challenge of Tom Dipple. I believe Dipple was the endorsed candidate. There's still 6 precincts out there, but Dipple leads 61-38%. Eric Pratt, with 4 precincts left, leads Natalie Barnes 53-46%. A little scare for Pratt. I had a Republican earlier tell me that he thought Pratt was in real trouble, that Barnes had run a very good race. I was down in that district just a few weeks ago. Saw a lot of Pratt signs, not a lot of Barnes signs. Barnes was endorsed by Scott Jensen, the GOP nominee. Barnes had the Republican endorsement. Pratt, the sitting senator, challenged the endorsement, and it looks like he'll survive. I got an Aaron McQuaid beats Justin Emmerich in Senate District 56. Jim Bean will be the Republican in that very closely watched district. If you're just catching up, Omar Feta beats challenger Sean Layden. Senator Feta, subject of Senate ethics hearings, but the Education Union leader Sean Layden only polls 39% of the vote. Feta wins with 60% of the vote. And then in open seat, Senate District 63, Zainab Mohammed wins with 68% of the vote against Todd Scott. Zainab likely to be the first Black and first Muslim in the Minnesota Senate. Senate District 65, we're watching 11 of 24 precincts, and Sandy Pappas is leading. All right, we're going to check the Minnesota representative races and go from here. So, state House races. Heintzman beats Kern, is leading Kern with half the precincts in, 80-20. Sounds like Maverick wants to go outside pretty soon. Poor Maverick. Puts up with me all day in this office. 71% Kurt Doubt, Rachel Davis. Mark Bashowski, 1 precinct left out there in Washington County. He'll beat Tina Reilly and face Josiah Hill. Expect Democrats to put a fair amount into that seat to try to win it, with the idea that they've held it before. Bashowski's seen as kind of a COVID warrior. And, you know, if choice is an issue out there, Josiah Hill might be able to run a tough race with Mark Bashowski. Steve Elkins beats Andrew Carlson in the battle of 2 incumbents, 61-38%. Liz Ryer in the other battle of 2 DFL incumbents beats Sandra Mason, 60-39. We have all the precincts in. Eric Mortensen beats Bob Lunan, 55-45. 2,600 votes down there. The winner, Eric Mortensen, faces Brad Tepke, which is a rematch of the 2020 race where Mortensen beat Tepke. You can expect that Democrats will put a lot of money in that race. And let's just say that there's a fair amount of House Republicans who would be okay if Mortensen doesn't return to the House. He was a caucus of 1, did not caucus with traditional Republicans, tried to caucus with New Republicans. He was pushed out of that caucus and was a caucus of 1. 4 precincts reporting. Liz Lee leads John Thompson 90% to 9%. So that's what we know here now at 10 o'clock on the nose. I want to thank people for watching. I saw quite a few people check in over time. And DFL is declaring Representative Omar has won. They send out a statement from Ken Martin congratulating on her victory. And so she had the endorsement and goes from there. So is this an electoral scare that will make her rethink her tone, her tenor, those kinds of things? Or will she double down on not working with certain people, including suburban mayors who endorsed against her, things like that? I know the Samuel people are going to be watching this, but I do want to tell you this will be a part of I think a longer term update. And oh, by the way, I finally just saw the comments here. Wabuya, thanks. Samuels can't run as an independent. It won't take 10 days to count, but thanks for following along. Again, I'm going to sign off now. I want to thank everybody for this little experiment. You know, we made it an hour and a half. We made it interesting. Follow me at Blois Olson on Twitter. I will tweet results. If you don't get our newsletters, go to fluence-newsletters.com. We'll have a full electoral recap tomorrow and all the races and a little analysis. And then I'll be on 620 on WCCO with Vanita Sakar. Thanks for tuning in to the Fluence live stream on primary election night 2022. I'm Blois Olson. Until next time, be well.